We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Archangel 8. This is a 5-part miniseries from Artists Writers Artisans Inc., or AWA for short. I think that's a stupid name. This is written by Michael Moreci, art by C.P. Smith, Snakebite Cortez was the colorist, Sal Cipriano letterer, Jeff Dekal did the cover art. Cover art's fantastic. That's a beautiful image. Got me to buy the book. This is the story of someone referred to simply as 8. And he is on assignment from someone named Gabriel to go looking for a man that apparently may have been at one point like a good person or something, but he's ended up on this hit list, a guy named Delmar, and he announces his presence and that his intentions to look for Delmar, and of course that was a setup to lure bad guys in to get information out of them. And it's a pretty gory and graphic, very mature audiences sort of book, and it ends with a supernatural twist that was really kind of ruined by the media surrounding this. So if you've seen anything about this series, you've already had the ending spoiled and it really loses effect. I could kind of see where they're going with this, and it feels a lot like a Punisher story, but overall the story was pretty decent. It's a very violent, very graphic story, but it's not badly done. My main complaint would be that the art is too dark, and sometimes I couldn't tell who was who, and that was a little frustrating to not be able to tell which characters which, and they really don't show a lot of the face sometimes for 8, so you'll see like half of his face and you're not sure if it's him or somebody else talking. I thought that was a little irritating. Not only is it dark, you also have a partial face to work with, and that really didn't do much for me to really get into the story. It's really drawn a lot like a TV series is filmed, and that works fine on TV, but in an art project, I need to be able to tell one character from the other. It's a visual storytelling medium, but it's not television. Stop drawing like it's television. So that was a little frustrating. But other than that, it's a pretty solid book so far. I'll probably check out issue 2. It seems like it's potentially interesting, or it's going to be really stupid. It's hard to tell at this point, but the first issue was pretty solid, so I would recommend it. But that's just my opinion. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you want to help the channel in other ways, links are in the description and on the About page. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Archangel 8, Issue 2. This is a 2020 miniseries from Artists, Writers, Artisans, or AWA, written by Michael Moreci. C.P. Smith was the artist, Snakebite Cortez colorist, Sal Cipriano letterer, Jeff Dekal cover artist. Cover's pretty cool. That doesn't show up anywhere in the book though. Delmar Deacon is interrogating some of his hired thugs to get information. Why it didn't work when they tried to kill 8. Meanwhile, we see the female assassin messing around on a bridge. You get a good idea what she's up to, but she comes across 2 locals, and of course they're sleazy chauvinists, and she kills them. They are in the gang though, so that's actually not that big of a deal. But the sexism thing, that's a little generic and tired at this point. Come on, it's overdone. Meanwhile, 8 goes to see a man that used to be the sheriff, and we learned that when he didn't play ball with Deacon, his wife and son were murdered, and his girl was crippled, and he has a package for 8 that was dropped off by the mysterious interloper lady and her friends, and 8 gets a really good tip on where to go to intercept some of Deacon's merchandise that he can manipulate for himself. But there are further complications in the form of some old co-workers. So far this has been a pretty good series. This issue was good story building, and there is some action in it, so I like that. It moves the plot along quite nicely, but this is a mini series, so this issue isn't going to make a whole lot of sense without the first issue. I think you can enjoy it on its own though as an action issue, but it's definitely part of a larger story. It might be worth waiting for the trade paperback to collect all these issues and then read it as if it was a graphic novel. That's probably how a lot of these AWA books are going to end up being, because that's how it really looks. Plus you'll save some money because most of the trade paperbacks appear to be going for $10 according to what the listings are in the previews world. If that's true for this one, which I'm not sure specifically, you'll save about $10 by buying it in trade. But I'm going to read the rest of the issues. I already ordered all 5 of them, so we're not even halfway through the series yet. But I am enjoying it, and hopefully the payoff is good. So that being said, I will recommend this, and it has been a pretty solid series so far. The art is very sketchy and with lots of shadows, which looks like they're cutting corners a little bit, but it didn't bother me too much. If it bothers you, you may not like this series, but the storyline is pretty solid, and the colors are fantastic. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel in other ways, links are in the description to my Patreon, Streamlabs, and Teespring store. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Archangel 8 issue 3. This is a 5-part miniseries from the pretentiously named Artists, Writers, and Artisans from 2020, written by Michael Moreci. C.P. Smith was the artist, Snakebite Cortez was the colorist, Sal Cipriano letterer, Jeff Dekal cover artist. Cover's okay. It scene sort of appears in this issue. Otherwise, it doesn't really tell you much. The cover would not have inspired me to buy this at all. It doesn't say who the editor was, so I'll assume there wasn't one. So the attacks on Delmar continue, and the Archangel 8, our lead character, finally gets a chance to talk to him, and he has to offer his help because he's supposed to protect Delmar for some reason, even though Delmar's a complete scumbag, drug and arms runner. 8 figures out where the next target is, and he was right, but things aren't exactly as they appear, and when he gets a chance to interrogate the woman, something happens, and yeah, plans didn't go how they were supposed to. We get a little bit of a reveal about the angels, and it looks like 8 is kind of questioning the motivation of Gabriel to protect this drug dealer. So we do get to see some supernatural elements here in a sort of way. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid action issue. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was worth checking out. I don't feel too cheated for my money, except for when I remember that in the upcoming previews, it did say that the trade paperbacks from this company are only going to be $10. So I did enjoy this book. It has been fun. I've already ordered the last couple issues, so unfortunately I'm going to be in it for $20, but if you're thinking about picking this up, which so far it is pretty solid, I'd recommend waiting until the trade paperback comes out, which is supposed to be in shops October 7th, and it's only going to be $10. So don't bother with the floppy issues. It looks like the trade paperback is going to be the way to go. But overall, I am enjoying this book. It has been pretty fun and very action oriented. The art's pretty solid. It's a little dark, and I think they did that to kind of cut corners on the art, which has a lot of hashing and rough sketch lines. I think it was the artist's way of kind of cutting corners to speed things up, but overall it's not bad. The colors are real good. The explosions look really cool. So yeah, I'll recommend this, but I'll recommend waiting for the trade paperback. It's going to be a lot cheaper to get it, and you'll get the full story. So if you go to the comic shop and decide to order it through your comic shop, which I recommend, the code for the trade paperback is AUG201211. So I would just wait and do it that way, but I will review the other issues to see if the miniseries does pay off, and I'm hoping it does because I have been enjoying it so far. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel in other ways, links are in the description, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Archangel 8 issue 4 from Artists, Writers, and Artisans from 2020. This is written by Michael Moreci, art by C.P. Smith, colorist with Snakebite Cortez, letters by Sal Cipriano, cover art by Jeff Dekal. The cover's kind of cool, but it really doesn't tell you anything about the book. It doesn't do it justice. It doesn't say who the editor was. So 8 has to defend Delmar. He doesn't really want to. We learn Michael's motivation and what he's been up to, and it's pretty naughty. Now, Delmar thinks that he can take out these attackers, but as he soon learns, he's dealing with something a lot more supernatural than what he's used to dealing with. And 8 has to make a decision, and his decision is really not what I expected. It looks like it's going to be interesting for the wrap-up, and there is a lot of violence and explosions in here. It is pretty graphic, so it's definitely a mature reader's title, and we do get to see much more of the supernatural elements. So I'm intrigued to see where the final issue goes and how how they wrap it up. Overall, the art was pretty good. There's a couple sequences that I thought looked a little too psychedelic, but overall, it's pretty solid art. The colorist did a really good job for the psychedelic effects. I just think that needed toned down a little bit. The violence was definitely well done. If you're looking for a violent Punisher style book like Marvel used to do and with a little bit more blood and gore, this is probably gonna be for you. It's not overly gruesome, but it is bloody enough that it's a mature reader's title. And there is some language, of course, and some adult themes. Like I said, the story is really fun. This is easily one of the best series that AWA has, but again, if you're gonna pick this up, get it in trade paperback because it's gonna be cheaper, significantly cheaper, unless you're pulling these out of a back issue bin. The 5-issue story in trade paperback is set to release, I think, in October of 2020, and it'll probably be about $10 from what the previews guide is saying. So if you're gonna check this out, just get the $10 trade instead of paying $4 for 5 issues. Do the math, it works out better getting the trade. So I would definitely recommend the trade paperback version. We'll see how it pays off. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to wrap this up in one issue, but we'll see how they do it. Michael Moreci has done a really good job with this, and so has the artist. Everybody did a good job so far, and I'm intrigued to see how it wraps up. So I'm looking forward to the final issue. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you want to help the channel other ways, links to my Patreon, Streamlabs, and Teespring store are in the description. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Archangel 8, issue 5 of 5. This is from Artists, Writers, and Artisans in 2020. Written by Michael Moreci. C.P. Smith was the artist. Snakebite Cortez on colors. Sal Cipriano letterer. Cover art by Jeff Dekal. Cover's actually pretty good and it does relate to what's going on. So Michael and 8 have their final confrontation. There's a fair amount of talking as they try and work through their differences, and we get to see various flashbacks of how Michael came to the position he's in and what he's fighting for. Now this does wrap up the storyline, and we do get a lot of resolution as to what happens with Michael, 8, and Delmar, and the confrontations that they have to have with other people and the implications of what they've had to do with other people. So it's a real interesting wrap up to the miniseries, and they kind of do set it up for a sequel in a way, but I think it makes a good complete story with the way that it wraps up. It definitely has a vibe like all the other AWA books, that it's really just a movie treatment that they've storyboarded out for the company. But this is definitely one of their best properties that they've put out because it is very action oriented and it does have a little bit more of a compact storyline than some of the others. It's much better written too. It would be better read probably as a graphic novel. So if you could pick it up in trade paperback, I would absolutely recommend doing it that way. You'll probably save a little bit of money unless you find these in a back issue bin. If you can find them in a back issue bin cheap, I would say pick them up that way. But if you're only looking to spend about $10, get the trade paperback. All their trade paperbacks seem to be aimed at being low price point, so they're going to be cheaper than picking up individual issues. And I would absolutely recommend anything you pick up from this company, get it cheaper, because a lot of it's just not worth reading. This miniseries is one of the rare exceptions where I would say, yeah, this is actually good. So Michael Moreci did a great job. C.P. Smith did a great job. The colors really pop. Everything about this book came together pretty nicely into a solid, cohesive story. So I will recommend this not only as a miniseries, but as an individual issue. You would probably have trouble figuring out what it's all about in this issue, but I think there's enough action. If you're just looking for an action-oriented read, you can enjoy it as such. But I will recommend it. I thought it was a fun ride, and it's very action-packed. It is pretty bloody. It's very much a mature reader's title, but it was an intriguing story, and I would probably check out a sequel. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, be sure to share the video around or check out my Patreon, Streamlabs, or Teespring store, all of which are listed in the description. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.